Okay, quick warning before we get started. Today's video is going to get pretty intense.
We have to sacrifice something and we have to disrupt business as usual. So I will be staying here as long as it takes to get our government to listen to us.
I'm a taxi driver, okay? I have a lady, she has a surgery at the hospital in half an hour. Can you move, please?
I'm really sorry, I'm glued to the ground.
It's going to show a lot of illegal activity. I'm not showing this to glorify these actions or to tell you you should do the same.
The first action I did, I took some pink paint and I painted a woolly mammoth at the Royal BC Museum. It was the first action that was done in the Last Generation campaign.
Montreal's Jacques-Cartier Bridge was shut down on Tuesday morning after environmental activists climbed the structure connecting Montreal to the South Shore. They then put a red banner up that read, "Oil is killing us."
I'm also not here to judge this organization or to say that we should all be ignoring them.
The Minister of Defense of Quebec said that we were dangerous climate propagandists, anarchists. And he said that no journalists should talk to us because that would be legitimizing what we did.
Instead, my goal is simply to understand. What is it that leads people to spend their Tuesday morning standing in front of traffic who is angrily honking and screaming at them?
Tant que nous ne serons pas entendus, nous continuerons à désobéir à cet ordre injuste.
I'm gonna lose my fucking job if you don't move. I'm a fucking worker. I got a job.
What do these people believe in? What are their objectives? And ultimately, can it make a difference? So I set up interviews with a couple of members of this organization. I also joined them on one of their actions, which led to a major street through Montreal being blocked for over 3 hours. This was honestly one of the most intense videos I've ever made.
Why did it take you an hour to remove people? I don't understand. It's illegal.
Yeah, she is glued to the street.
I don't give a shit. Fuck, you go glue. I don't care. Fuck, what do you want me to do?
And suddenly this guy just tries to go for it. I'm like, what? Like, what did you expect to do? Like, were you really gonna just try to run us over?
But I'm hoping it can lead to some intelligent conversation in the comment section and get a real debate going, not just trolling and screaming at each other for no reason. Is that still possible in 2025? Well, let's find out.
So what is Last Generation Canada?
Sure, so Last Generation Canada, we're a nonviolent civil resistance campaign that has one primary demand, and that is for the federal government to enact a climate disaster protections agency funded by a billionaire tax. This is a no-brainer and at the same time extremely critical demand. We are witnessing climate collapse happen live right now. We're seeing countries across the world become decimated from the impacts of the oil and gas industry, and we're seeing this happen in our country.
Some of the action that Last Generation Canada takes involves... Well, actually, maybe I should ask you, what kind of action does Last Generation Canada take?
So we use nonviolent civil disobedience in order to bring the demands of our campaign to the forefront. And that includes road blockades, it includes disruptive actions, it basically includes doing anything that we can to nonviolently break through the media and disrupt the general public.
So this is it, 7:30 in the morning, and I'm about to meet up with Last Generation, and they're going to take some action. I believe they're going to be blocking a street. And I'm feeling strangely nervous. And as I look around at all these morning people off to work, off to school, off to their lives, and I think about the idea of blocking them. I've spoken to the group before. I've seen pictures and short clips of what they do, but now that it's actually about to take place and I'm about to be filming it, well, this is it. Here they go.
Nous sommes en juin 2025. À peine 2 ans après avoir vécu notre saison des feux de forêt, la plus dévastatrice jamais enregistrée au Canada, nous vivons encore une saison historiquement catastrophique. Nous sommes Dernière Génération Canada, un mouvement citoyen qui en a assez des actions de nos élus en face de l'urgence climatique. On exige que le gouvernement canadien instaure une agence de protection contre les désastres climatiques financé par une taxe sur les milliardaires.
And we know who's at fault here. It's the billionaires and the CEOs who have caused this.
Someone might hear that and think, wait a second, like I believe in climate change, I believe the environment's important, but like billionaires are responsible. What do you mean? What is the connection between the billionaires and the climate issue?
Well, the billionaires and the people who are sitting at the top of our society right now, they're disproportionately responsible for the emissions that are causing the climate crisis. We know that most of the emissions are created by 100 companies in this world, and we know it's not average everyday people who are responsible for this crisis. It is the billionaires, it is the ultra elite and their lifestyles that are actively killing us, and it's our government that's completely incompetent to put any type of regulation on this complete decimation.
Financé par une taxe sur les milliardaires. Les jeunes pompiers sont morts sur le front. Des milliers de gens ont vu leur vie s'envoler en fumée. Certains sont décédés.
And so one of the things your group does is block streets. Specifically here in Montreal, you've blocked streets. Someone's critique could be that is attacking, or no, attacking is a strong word, but that is affecting people who aren't billionaires. That's affecting people coming home from their jobs. How do you see the connection between the people who are being stopped versus the billionaires who are somehow at fault?
Of course, yeah. And, you know, to anyone who's been personally inconvenienced by our actions, we are really sorry that you've been caught up in this situation. It would be very easy for us to get off the road if the government agreed to protect ordinary people, but unfortunately, it's impossible to reach these people who are hiding in their mansions, who are hiding with their personal protections all around them. What we really need to be doing is creating as much disruption as possible so that this issue is brought to light. Taking action about the climate crisis that's set to take all of our lives is not a comfortable subject. It's not comfortable to get in the way of business as usual, yet it remains our only viable pathway forward if we want to get this message across and also create the amount of sustained disruption that pushes our government to take action.
Quand tous les effectifs internationaux vont être occupés à venir en aide aux civilités partout ailleurs, la production de gaz à effet de serre maintenant pour rester en dessous du point critique de 2 degrés Celsius. Puisque ce qu'on vit en ce moment, c'est que la pointe de l'iceberg de l'effondrement climatique qui nous attend si on continue sur notre trajectoire d'émissions carbonées. Les dirigeants mondiaux donnent des promesses vides pour ensuite tricher leurs émissions et continuer comme si de rien n'était. Nous avons besoin que le gouvernement mette en place une agence de protection contre les désastres climatiques financée par une taxe sur les milliardaires. Si cette agence ne doit pas répondre aux contribuables comme nous. Les solutions existent, mais les compagnies pétrolières, entités extrêmement puissantes, bloquent volontairement les efforts pour le climat, pour protéger leur tabac, pour discréditer le consensus scientifique et diviser le public tout en sachant la vie. Ces personnes. What do we want?
Climate justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
If we don't get it,
shut it down!
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 This type of action is necessary because we've known about the climate crisis since the 70s. There have been obvious papers and clear reports on what is bound to happen to our society and to humanity if we don't end the oil and gas era. Nothing has worked. People have been writing to their MPs. They've been calling up politicians. We even saw 500,000 people here marching in Montreal in 2019. That hasn't worked.
In 2019, of course, for someone who's not from Montreal, you know, Greta Thunberg was there. That was a huge moment for this city, I guess for this country, you could say. You're saying it didn't work. In what sense did it not work?
Well, it's great if people showed up to this protest. But one day, taking one day off work and having a parade isn't going to fix the climate crisis. The Prime Minister of this country was in attendance on this day, and past a pipeline. This government is continuing to push new oil and gas projects. It's continuing to expand the fossil fuel industry. It's continuing to allow and subsidize billionaires and the ultra elite who don't care about real people in this country, and at the same time isn't providing any type of protection for people in this country for climate disasters.
One of the members, she's actually glued her hand to the streets, so she is not going anywhere. Ever since then, there's been a lot of honking, and it seems like people have lost their patience.
What do we want? Climate justice. What do we want it? Now. If we don't get it, shut it down. What do we want? Climate justice. When do we want it? Now. If we don't get it, shut it down.
The police just arrived. The police are here.
One and a half million hectares have burnt already this year, and it's only June 3rd. There are 25,000 Canadians that are displaced from their homes. Many of them have lost their homes, and their government has not been doing anything besides wishing for rain.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling really good. I woke up this morning and saw the news, and I saw that 1.5 million hectares had burnt, and I know that I'm doing the right thing. I cannot sit here while 25,000 people have lost their homes and are evacuated. So many Indigenous nations and their chiefs are begging for help, and I can't believe that our government is sponsoring the F1 races, yet Indigenous nations have to plead for help for one extra water bomber. It's ridiculous, and we need change now. The experts have been calling for a climate disaster protection agency for 10 years, and still nothing has been done.
And so, I see. First of all, I see there's police behind you. They might be coming this way, but I want to ask, what step have you taken right now?
I have glued myself down to the road to demand a climate disaster protection agency. We will not be silenced, and we have to do these things to get our voices heard. We have to sacrifice something, and we have to disrupt business as usual. So I will be staying here as long as it takes to get our government to listen to us.
I'm a taxi driver, okay? I have a lady, she has a surgery at the hospital in half an hour. Can you move, please?
I'm really sorry, I'm glued to the ground.
Mais tu vas être capable de passer. Va là, tu vas être capable de passer.
You've been arrested.
Yes, I've been arrested 3 times.
Can you share what that was for?
Yeah, sure. So I was arrested 3 times, 2 for some painting actions, and then 1 at a roadblock. I've been detained some other moments, but I'll just focus on these.
Yeah.
So the first action I did, I took some pink paint and I painted a woolly mammoth at the Royal BC Museum. It was the first action that was done in the Last Generation campaign. Last year was the year that we passed 1.5 degrees of warming, and CBC didn't even write an article about it. But if I put a bunch of pink paint on the tusks of a woolly mammoth, it's going to make national news. So we were using these types of actions as our platform to get our message out there and to get the idea of our campaign out there. I took another painting action, painting this Toronto sign when I was there in 2023. And then my most recent arrest, I glued my hand to a highway, and that resulted in being in prison for 2 days.
And so if someone's listening to this who is like sympathetic to the cause, but they're like, I don't want to get arrested, this sounds crazy. Like, how do you see, you talked about the 2019 protests leaving you feeling kind of disillusioned, maybe it's fair to say. Like, how do you see peaceful protests, do you just think they don't work? Do you still see like both actions are necessary? What's your view at this point?
Yeah, well, peaceful protests do work, and I would just like to reiterate that everything that we're doing is quite peaceful, right?
Right.
No one's getting harmed. We're completely nonviolent in our actions, and I would really like to emphasize that the real violence is coming from the state that refuses to protect us. But to someone who thinks that getting arrested is completely crazy, I totally understand. Our entire upbringing, most of us in this country have been taught that being arrested is shameful. Going against social norms is really psychologically hard. It might mean that there's consequences in your life regarding your work, regarding your travel status. But I think that the real consequences that we're facing right now is the loss of our livable climate. There was a report that was released this year that predicts that 3 degrees of warming, which could happen as soon as 2050, that means 4 billion deaths on this planet. That's half the population gone in 25 years. I'm 26, that'll be when I'm 51.
Wow.
So for me, going to prison for a few days or a few months, or there's people in the UK right now who have been sitting in jail for years for doing nonviolent, peaceful protest, that pales in comparison to the loss of half of our population.
One of the missing links for some people, like someone who might like agree with all of your urgency here, but they're like, I still don't understand what that has to do with the paint on the mammoth. I still don't see what that has to do with blocking the street. What would you say to someone who's like, listen, I agree with everything you're saying. I still think it's wrong of you to stop me on my way home from work?
Yeah, I understand. I think that we all need to take a look at the deep and rich history of societal change. And I think we all need to look at the history of civil resistance and what actually has awarded us our human rights today. And I don't mean that in any type of patronizing way, because I understand that we're not actually educated about this fully in school. When I was younger, when I first saw my friends getting involved with Extinction Rebellion, I thought, why would you get in the way of everyday people's lives? I had these exact same thoughts in my mind. But then you start to look into the history of the civil rights movement or the women's suffrage movement. You take a look at the workers' rights that we have right now, and it really comes from a long tradition of people taking these same actions. And really, to break it down, the strategy of nonviolent resistance is to create the most disruption possible in every avenue possible so that we can eventually raise the cost of disruption above the cost of negotiation, and we force them to listen to the people.
What inspired you to be here today?
Canada's burning with fires across all the western provinces, and tens of thousands of people have been chased from their homes. Tens of millions of people are affected by the smoke and the toxic hazardous air. Basically, we've known about the climate crisis for 30 years, and still our government has done nothing basically to reduce emissions. Emissions continue to rise, our planet continues to heat. Studies say that billions will die this century if we continue to heat the planet as we are. The government is basically failing to stop billionaires and oil companies from destroying my children's and my grandson's future. And I've tried for 30 years to advocate. I've met with politicians, I've signed petitions, I've gone to rallies, and that hasn't made a difference.
Yeah.
And the only way we're going to stop this destruction of our planet is if people resist, non-violently resist.
Do you agree with that, yes or no? So you're incapable of making a statement. You're incapable of telling me if buses and public transport is green or not green. Are you capable of answering that question, yes or no? So buses are green, we've just established that. Now you are blocking up to 3 to 4 to 5 buses carrying up to like 320, 400 people.
So it's now 8:30. The initial road blocking took place with a big group, and now there are 2 members who are still there. There's a young woman who has glued her hand, really glued, I mean that thing's not coming off, to the street. And there's a man who has remained seated with his sign for about 30-40 minutes now. Initially there was a lot of honking, a lot of intense reactions from the the cars. Now there's an occasional passerby coming and asking what they're doing, or yeah, there's still some stuff happening, but the police are here. The police are redirecting traffic, and I feel a level of anxiety just filming this, just witnessing this.
You're just stupid. You're just stupid, that's all. I mean...
What's your name?
Sebastian.
Yeah, so I've been interviewing these activists.
No, these people want to go to work. In the bus, they want to go to work. They don't take their car. Maybe they want to save the planet. Okay? I tell you in English. You can speak in Chinese too. But in Montreal, you can at least speak French. But anyway, these people want to go to work. So please stand up and let the people in Quebec go to work by bus. Because you want to save the planet and you agree that they want to save the planet.
Pas de problème. Moi, je suis journaliste. Je travaille, je suis pas militante.
Pas militant, ben enlève-toi de la rue si t'es pas militant.
Ben moi, c'est ma job.
Non, ta job, c'est pas de bloquer la rue. Ta job, c'est pas de bloquer la rue. Tu es dans la rue et tu bloques la rue. You're not doing your job. Ask the person to go on the sidewalk. No, ask her to go on the sidewalk. Ask her to go to the sidewalk and do your interview. Come on, that's a nonsense.
Vous parlez anglais, monsieur?
Oui, français.
Their idea is that the urgency of the climate crisis is so big that they want to shut things down to force the Canadian government to take actions that they are not taking. So their view is not, they don't want to stop the buses, but they see it as a necessary consequence to get the attention of the government. Qu'est-ce que vous pensez?
Moi, je suis pour les actions écologistes là, contre pour lutter contre le changement climatique, c'est sûr. Il faut faire quelque chose et des fois il faut faire des actions marquantes pour marquer les esprits, tout ça. Après, je ne sais pas si ça va bloquer pas mal de bus. Ça c'est un peu embêtant et les bus c'est aussi des alternatives aux chars, à la voiture et tout ça. Mais bon, tout est bon, toute action est bonne à prendre. Je pense.
It's an interesting point of view about the buses. I would also, not like to see buses being blocked.
So tell me your logic. Just explain your logic.
But I've talked to the group. Their philosophy is that
there's no philosophy.
There's no philosophy.
I don't think they have courses. No, no, because she told me what? She told me, okay, we have to block the traffic, right? Okay. Why? Is the planet the planet is burning? It's not logical, okay? The thinking is not logical.
My name is Jacob Pirot. I'm 25. I am part of the climate justice and social justice movement I've been part of it since 2018, 2019. And I am a civil disobedience action taker.
What does that mean, civil disobedience?
Civil disobedience. Well, the disobedience part is pretty easy to understand. I think it's just the idea of breaking the law or contradicting a norm. The civil part, though, is important. The civil part is about how we do decide to break laws or to break social norms, but we do it as people. We do it with our faces, I don't know how to say that, visage découvert.
Yeah. You don't have a mask, you're telling me your name, we're sitting here in the park, you're not hiding anything.
Yeah, I'm not hiding anything because what we do is morally righteous. It's morally correct.
Some people might be worried, right? Maybe someone walking by works for oil and gas and they're like, oh, that's the guy I saw on the news who blocked the pipeline and I want to come here and...
we do receive a lot of death threats. We do really receive a lot of... We get spat on. I get spat on like once every 2 weeks, I think, in Montreal.
Just going about your life.
Yeah, in the subway or something.
Oh my God.
But it's always on my feet, which is respectful, I think.
Wow.
Like they aim for something that I can easily clean. But yeah, it's true that we do receive a lot of aggressivity from people. But we do receive a lot more love. I think every 2 days someone comes in the street and says that like they're grateful of people doing this kind of thing.
Are you okay with being hated if it leads to the correct outcome?
if the correct outcome is the survival of humanity, I'm willing to pretty much endure anything.
Montreal's Jacques-Cartier Bridge was shut down on Tuesday morning after environmental activists climbed the structure connecting Montreal to the South Shore, then put a red banner up that read, "Oil is killing us."
So Jacob, where are we now?
We're at the bottom of the Jacques-Cartier Bridge, but not the place where I can't be because of my conditions. Because I'm technically not supposed to be on the Jacques-Cartier Bridge. So we're just below it. So if any cop is watching, I am not breaking my conditions right now. If my lawyer's watching, I am not breaking my conditions right now.
And so talk me through the day. You climbed very early in the morning, or
Very early,
give me a
around-
short version of what happened the day you climbed the bridge.
Around 4 a.m., we went to the base of the bridge, did the bike until then, and then we just started climbing from the base of the structure. And then we just stayed on top, calling people, doing interviews, and waiting for the police to come get us down. So SWAT came and took us. There were 4 people for every climber.
And you were arrested?
I was arrested, and I
Yeah.
was sent to the police station for a night. And then I was told that, given that I was a threat to society, which is a big thing to say to someone when they're like non-violent, peaceful activists, trying to explain that the world is burning and we need to do something about it. But the Minister of Defense of Quebec said that we were dangerous climate propagandists, anarchists. And he said that no journalists should talk to us because that would be legitimizing what we did.
Do you feel like this will have long-term consequences on your life?
Well, I can't go to the US anymore. Not that I really wanted to go anyways. I think I don't want to end up in El Salvador. I can't be a teacher anymore, really. That's something that I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
That I can't do anymore.
I'm interviewing you, and I'm looking at this bridge, and I'm hearing your story. But I'm definitely not making this video to tell people to go out and block bridges. In fact, I'm not even sure I agree that you blocked a bridge. It's actually a question I have that, and part of the reason I'm making this video is because I'm trying to figure out how I feel about this concept of civil disobedience. Because from a rational side, it makes sense. But from an emotional side, I can still imagine being stuck on that bridge for 7 hours, or I don't know what the cars had to do, but I imagine if I'm on my way to work and I'm stuck there, people must have been furious.
Yeah, and
right?
with good reason, to be honest. Like, if I was one of the people that I blocked, I would be furious at me. Like, my first reaction would be,
yeah,
this fucking 24-year-old kid just making my day, my life a little bit harder. Like, my life is already hard enough.
Yeah.
Why do I have to deal with this young guy, like, making it harder?
Yeah.
And all of that pretending to help me, like, who does he think he is, right? I do get that, this feeling of like, why is he so condescending towards me? Like, oh, I'm making you suffer, but it's for you actually. It has this feeling, and I get it, right? This feeling of like, are you Jesus? Why do you sacrifice yourself for the good of humanity?
Some ego involved.
Of course they think there's some ego in it, and I would be lying if I said that there's like zero ego in anything, right? I am talking to a camera.
Yeah.
But like, the reality is, like, when you look at the way things are going in our society, I come back to this, we cannot afford to be asleep right now. Like, we are seeing the rise of fascism, we are seeing the rise of the tides, we are seeing the rise in temperature. That was pretty good, like, rise. And our government's either doing nothing or actively contributing to things going worse.
Yeah.
And so, you know, a government is re-elected every 4 years. And so they cannot think in long term, right? They can't think long term. They have to think of the next election all the time. And it's a system that works as long as the population doesn't depoliticize itself. For democracy to work, we need to not give our political power to our representatives. We need to also hold each other accountable and responsible for how this society is going. And this is what I tried to do on that day.
I think the police are trying to get the glue off. The policewoman just offered her water. she had water in her bag, which obviously she couldn't reach, and then the police officer got her the water. And I have to say, because I know a lot of people say bad things about police officers, just my witness here, they've been pretty respectful and probably like more understanding of the situation than someone might expect the police to just be upset and to be just arresting them immediately and trying to force her off the street. Not at all.
Why do you take an hour to remove people? I don't understand. It's illegal.
Yeah. She is glued to the street.
I don't give a shit. Fuck, you go glue. I don't care. Fuck. What do you want me to do?
Solène.
Solène. So, Solène, you are just walking by, and what do you think of what you're seeing today?
Je pense que c'est très puissant comme message. Je la trouve très brave et je trouve ça une image très poignante. Ça me touche beaucoup.
A lot of people passing by do not have the same response as you. A lot of people are saying, oh, what are they doing? These people, they are confused, they're not doing anything. Why do you think that is?
Bon, je pense qu'ils sont juste pas conscients, ces gens-là. Je pense que c'est eux qui sont pas conscients des choses et qui sont pas sensibles. C'est ça que je pense de eux.
And of course, there are different points of view. Another woman just passed by who she was like completely against. She's like, this is the worst kind of activism. This doesn't do anything and makes climate activists look bad, which is an opinion that you sometimes hear.
Do you ever worry, and this is a hard question, but I've told a couple friends that I'm working on this video project, and someone said, you know what, if anything, this organization is going to like make people who otherwise would support environmental causes be like, well, these people are a bunch of lunatics. Now it's going to like push people the other way. It's going to push someone into thinking, well, I supported like green policy as well, but if blocking bridges is what this means, then to hell with these people.
If you actually believe that a problem is a problem, like, I don't know, let's go back to Luigi Mangione, right? I can be against murder and still understand that the system of health insurance is bad.
Yeah.
If my reaction to seeing someone do something that I dislike for a cause is I don't believe in the cause anymore, I really need to do some self like retrospection. Because if you do understand how bad the climate crisis is, it feels like a cop-out to say, oh, but one person blocked a bridge and so I don't believe in the climate crisis anymore.
Now I see one of the officers has a machine. I don't know if that's blowing air or blowing water, but there's some kind of machine that might be used to force off the hand. I am nervous for her hand. I don't know how much damage this intense glue and the pavement will cause, and I hope it can be removed without too much harm. But yeah, this is obviously a new situation for the police as well.
You can see hammering. Looks like there's a hammer and chisel. At 11:11 a.m. she has just stood up and I assume will be arrested. Her hands are being cleaned. There is a paramedic there. Everyone is making sure that well, let's just say safety is being taken first, which is nice to see. And now, nearly 3.5 hours later, the first traffic passes again. Do you have any regrets?
No, I don't have regrets. I think the necessary aspect of this, like, once again, like, I regret that people had to be stuck in this. Like, the same way I regret I had to be stuck in this in a way. Like, I felt forced to do this by the circumstances of the world. But there's this level of regret for people that were stuck in there, because it's not their fault, it's not them. Like, people are like, oh, but are you against cars? I'm like, that's not really the issue. it's not you with your car that's causing all of this. It's not you who is smoking that's causing all of this, right? Like, this is a structural issue.
And I think you were telling me, not to jump in, but I think you were telling me when you protest the pipelines, nobody talks about it.
No one cares about it because.
So someone who might say, why are you blocking the bridge? Why don't you go back to the pipelines? You did protest pipelines, and
for a day. It was the longest pipeline blockade by non-Indigenous people, like, in Quebec's history. Like, it was a historic thing. We had a container.
Oh, they're getting you now. No, just kidding.
It's the ambulance. It's all good. We had like a container. We were a team. Like, that was a perfect action from a climate perspective, but no one talks about it because it doesn't bother anyone. Well, this bothers a lot of people, and that forces people to talk about it in a way. And so I don't have regrets about the action. I have remorse for the people that were there. I don't know if there's a difference between remorse and regrets, but I feel bad for the people.
You have
that were
empathy
stuck
for
in.
them.
I do have empathy for them because I understand that in their position I would be mad, and I'm sure that a lot of people had a pretty shitty day that day. So did I, to be honest, but I feel like I was more responsible for this than they were. But to be honest, not that much more responsible. Like, in this context, it is kind of forced upon us to react to this. And so, I don't know, I don't have regrets, but I do feel bad for the people that were there. And I won't say that I would do it again, but if I was to go back in time and decide whether or not to do it, I would still do it. Knowing what will happen next year. Yes, I don't know if that's legally a good thing to say, but whatever. That's how it works. Maybe my lawyer's going to be mad at me.